how can a traditional company innovate through software and bring a startup culture to their DNA? I think that software is at the core of startups, even though there are many different kinds of startups. But when people are talking about bringing a startup culture to the corporate world, they are usually talking about software, thinking about the impact that software has. And software is a funny thing. It's very hard to innovate if you don't understand it. If you don't know how software works or how computer works, you don't come up with the ideas that will be linked together and become a great solution. Still, you have your pain points, right? You have things that are asking you for innovation. And those are the best starting points for innovating through software. What I think traditional companies need to do is that they need to find the smallest software they can innovate with at first. So they start to understand how software works. And I'm not talking necessarily about how developing software works, even though I'm also talking about that, but how software works inside a company. How do you measure the success of a software project? How do you implement the project inside your company? And all those steps. And over time, your culture will start changing. The first example I had in my life of seeing this was I was working with my uncle when I was 15 years old. And he had a travel agency. He wanted to become more efficient and innovate through software, but he didn't understand a single thing about software. And this was back in the 90s, so when I say didn't understand a single thing, it's different back then. And I knew a little more about it. I knew how to build software, so I started building the first things. And at first, their ideas were basically replacing what they did on paper, but in a software. They would save some time, of course, because consolidation, calculations, all would be automatic, reports, all these kind of things. They would save time and they would save paper as well, right? They wouldn't need as much space for because it's true, paper takes up a lot of office space whenever you have records and this kind of stuff. But this was not the revolutionary innovation that would change their company, and they wouldn't become more like a startup until a few years in the future, when they started wanting to do online bookings for hotels, for example. This was very different from their traditional agency work, but they were trying to do something new. Basically, they were trying to do what Booking.com did, but before Booking.com. And when they tried to do that, they understood they had to learn more about how this works. How do you manage developers? How do you make sure you're not spending all your money and not releasing anything? So this story is to illustrate the idea that if you want to be more like a startup, you need to build software. And you cannot start with the biggest project, your biggest vision right away, because you need to learn. So the best idea is start small and start building. Don't rely only on innovation consultants, design thinking consultants. They are amazing. They will help you, go from 0 to 1 really fast. And they will help you think of very innovative things that maybe developers would never do and help you think. But you only start learning about software once you build your first software. And then you build the second, the third, the fourth, and so and so and so. So that's the key ingredient for a traditional company to start becoming more like a startup.